Mr. Harper, the music teacher at Ridgeview High in Boise, Idaho, stood before his class with a smug look he wore like a second skin. You know the type. Hair too perfect, voice too polished, the kind of person who treated teaching like a performance and his students like props in his show. Today, he said, pacing slowly across the gleaming floors of the music room, we're doing something a little different. The air shifted. Students exchanged glances. Everyone knew a little different in Mr. Harper's class meant someone was about to be made an example of. His gaze locked onto a student in the back row. Small, quiet, wearing the same faded hoodie every day, always sitting alone. Her name was Lily Carter, 15, who'd moved to town 6 months earlier. She lived in a low-income apartment complex near the school's baseball field. The other kids didn't know much about her, only that she kept to herself and didn't speak, unless forced. Today, Mr. Harper decided Lily would be his lesson. "Lily," he called, dragging her name out like it tasted bitter. "Ever picked up a violin?" She lifted her eyes slowly, her expression calm but unreadable. "Yes," she said softly. A few snickers rippled through the room. "Oh, really?" Mr. Harper's eyebrows shot up in mock surprise. "What a treat for us all. Come up here. Show us what you got." His tone was cloyingly sarcastic. He didn't expect a performance. He expected a punchline. Lily stood, walked to the front, and took the violin he offered. Her hands were steady. She didn't look at Mr. Harper or the students, some already whispering. She just tucked the violin under her chin, closed her eyes, and waited. The room held its breath for a second. 2. Someone giggled. Mr. Harper sighed loudly, ready to deliver a final jab. But then Lily drew the bow, and the world stopped. The first note floated into the air like a whispered secret, soft, fragile, then grew richer, deeper, filling the room with something too vast for 4 walls. She played a piece no one recognized, not from any lesson plan or school concert. It wasn't flashy or loud. It was tender, aching, like a memory you didn't know you'd lost until it returned in sound. The laughter died. The giggles vanished. Mr. Harper's smirk faltered, confusion creeping in. But Lily didn't look up. Her body moved with the music, fluid, instinctive. She wasn't just playing the violin, she was speaking through it, crying through it, maybe healing through it. For 3 minutes, the class sat in stunned silence. When the final note fell, Lily lowered the instrument, handed it back, and returned to her seat without a word. Mr. Harper blinked, opened his mouth, closed it again. "Thank you," he mumbled, his voice unsteady for the first time all year. The bell rang. Students filed out, dazed. Some glanced at Lily. Most didn't know what to say. Mr. Harper just stood there, clutching the violin, staring at the door she'd walked through. That afternoon, Lily sat alone under the bleachers behind the school, her hoodie pulled tight against the breeze. She wasn't thinking about the performance. She was thinking about her mom. Her mom always said music wasn't just a skill. It was a home, a safe place for feelings too big for words. She used to play violin for Lily when she was little, living room concerts, smiles after long work shifts. That was before the cancer, before hospital bills swallowed everything, before they had to sell her mom's violin, the last gift she'd ever given Lily. Lily taught herself to play again using school instruments, sneaking into the music room every morning before anyone arrived, practicing alone quietly. No audience, no applause, just memory and muscle. So when Mr. Harper called her up today, she didn't play to prove a point. She played because she missed her mom, and because music was the one part of her she wasn't ashamed of. In his office, Mr. Harper sat, still holding Lily's name like a question he didn't know how to ask. He replayed her performance in his head, each note unraveling a thread of his assumptions. How had he missed this? He prided himself on spotting talent, shaping young musicians, guiding stars before they knew they could shine. But Lily was invisible to him, just another poor kid in the back row, quiet, unremarkable. And he'd mocked her. The shame settled heavy on his chest. He opened his laptop, searching school files, emergency contacts, old transfer records. There it was, a note from her last teacher in her previous school in Spokane, Lily Carter. Musically gifted, one of the most naturally intuitive violinists I've ever taught. Please nurture this talent. His stomach churned. The next day, when Lily arrived early at the music room, as she always did, she found Mr. Harper already there. He wasn't standing like usual. He sat on the edge of the piano bench, shoulders slightly hunched. Before him, on a velvet cloth, lay a wooden violin case, old, weathered, but carefully polished. He looked up as she entered. "Lily," he said quietly, "can I talk to you for a minute?" She nodded warily. "I owe you an apology," he said. "Yesterday, I was trying to be clever, but I was unfair. I wasn't kind, and I definitely wasn't the teacher I should have been." Lily said nothing. He gestured to the case. "This belonged to my mother. She passed a few years ago. It's a fine instrument, and it's been sitting in my attic ever since. I'd like you to have it, if you want it." Lily's breath caught. She stepped forward, brushing the case with her fingers like she feared it might vanish if she blinked. "Why?" she whispered. Mr. Harper smiled, genuinely this time, a little uncertain, but honest. "Because you reminded me what music really is, and because you deserve more than being the punchline of someone who should have seen you." Tears welled in Lily's eyes, but she blinked them back. She reached out, opened the case, and lifted the violin like it was something sacred. That spring, Lily performed at the school's annual concert. No one whispered. No one laughed. They just listened. When the final note rang out, the auditorium stood, not just for the music, but for the girl who taught them to hear again. Sometimes the most powerful sound in a room is the one you never expected to hear. If this story moved you, take a moment to reflect on how we treat others based on what we think we know. Lily's story reminds us that talent, pain, and genius often hide in the people we overlook.